Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Hello and welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we are joined by Jane Rutter this afternoon, who is the CEO of Zeal. So good afternoon, Jane. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Can I just ask you to introduce yourself properly, and can you tell us a little bit more about what it is you guys do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jane. So I set up Zeal 11 years ago now, although the last year feels like about 10 years. Yeah, we are a full service creative and digital agency. So the Zeal kind of is three main areas of the business. One is tech. So we do a lot of development, whether that's brochureware websites or right up to kind of global e-com platforms. We do a lot of app development, software platform development, SaaS products, anything really like taking a traditionally offline experience and digitalizing it is really what we do. And obviously that part of the business has really grown in COVID for a couple of reasons, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And then we have the performance marketing. So obviously if you build a tech platform, you need people to go to it, whether that's for people to buy your products or generate leads. So we do a lot of social media advertising and PPC and SEO and affiliate marketing and anything that essentially gets your product in front of the right audience. And then we do a huge amount of creative. So I always smile when I say that because the creative team are just great fun. I mean, all the teams are, but yeah, we do video, photography, we do branding from scratch. So I really enjoy working with early stage companies and high growth companies. So, but then also we've had the opportunity to work with some really nice existing brands and do some brand redevelopment. We do graphic design, animation, so anything again of actually communicating your product to the right audience in the right way. So we do a lot of copywriting and creative messaging work as well, which is always exciting. So yeah,
everything under one roof. You're a one-stop shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. So tell us how the last year has been for you guys, and ultimately how COVID has affected your business.
Yeah, I mean, it's been shit, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Shut, which is a major thing. No, it's been a really difficult year. Nobody knew, like everybody says the same thing when they talk about this year. Nobody knew how long it would be. That was the difficult thing. So if somebody said this is going to be like this for a year, I mean, I definitely think I would have panicked. But one of the things that I didn't want to do when we went into the first lockdown is kind of stay still or hibernate. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure that however long this was going on for, when we did come out of it, I didn't look back with regret and think, oh, I should have done that. It's very much a personality trait of mine to regret the things I've done rather than regret the things I haven't done. So I'm definitely one of those people that just thinks, yeah, we need to kind of drive forward. So we actually went through an acquisition. I bought a small software company based in Leeds and brought their staff and clients and that product offering in-house. That was a really good move because it was actually like software development, which again, that kind of like digitalization piece of work has really grown in the past year. So I'm really excited about that. Still am. I think it's a huge growth area of the business. It was my first ever acquisition, which was nice because I love doing things I've never done before, because you don't know what you don't know until you don't know them. So learning was a really great experience for me, and it's increased our headcount. It's increased our product offering. It's been really good. The difficulty has been not having people in the office.
Yeah.
We're very much a young team. We're full of creatives. We're full of people that need to be around each other to talk through. We have obviously clients that undertake all of our services, some of our clients. So the SEO team need to speak to the dev team, who need to speak to the creative team. And that's just a lot easier to do in a room or in an office than it is to, set up a Zoom call and schedule diaries. And I think it's been tough because we put a lot of effort and investment into the culture of the staff here at Zeal. So like I always say this in interviews, like it sounds really cheesy, and I know it sounds cheesy when I say it, but we're genuinely like, we really like each other. Like we like spending time together. And so we've missed each other. We've missed that kind of team feeling, and that's definitely been reflective of some of the work that we've done, or some of the communication. Like, we've had staff issues that just would not be an issue if we were in the same room. So that's been really hard. And then we struggled. We have a lot of travel clients, so financially we struggled in some areas of the business, and I'm not afraid to say that it's nothing to, it happens, isn't it? It's been, what's the word that Boris uses, like unprecedented.
Unprecedented, yes, that's the word of the moment, isn't it?
So we lost a lot of revenue overnight. We didn't hold any of our clients to contracts because it was such a big thing. Obviously they're going through even harder times. So we have some clients that have done amazingly well out of this. E-com clients have in particular have done really well, but then travel clients, it's upsetting to see them struggle and do that. So yeah, it's been an interesting year, a roller coaster of emotions that change just within every 5 minutes sometimes.
Yeah, completely up and down.
Later, I'm like, why are the pubs not open? So yeah, it's been an interesting year though.
It sounds like, with the navigating an acquisition sort of was that during lockdown?
Yes, it was literally, I lose track of what number we're on now. I think we're on lockdown 3, are we? 2
We're in 3. We're in 3.
Something like that. Yeah, it was in between the 2, so we did have some time back in the office, but that was a struggle, because you're taking an existing company with staff and culture and bringing them into Zeal. Now, obviously, the due diligence done in finding the right partner was that they had similar cultures.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, it wasn't too difficult, and that was part of the reason why I thought it was a smart move to make, because that existed. But still, I mean, there are a lot of people who haven't met other people like in the team, and we've also grown in other areas. So we've taken on I think 6 new members of staff as well, probably in the last 6 months. They haven't met anybody. So it's interesting, but that's the hardest thing, not having the people together in the same room.
Absolutely, because that's where I was going with it. Navigating an acquisition when there are people, a team involved at any time is it can be choppy waters, can't it? I guess when you can't integrate them so much with the other people, with the culture, and start to forge those relationships that way. I can imagine that must have been a really tricky time for you guys to ensure that went smoothly.
Yeah, and I think it's like I said, the culture is really important, because we don't make widgets and sell widgets. Like this, the people that work for Zeal are really, they are my asset. They are what they deliver the work. They're amazing. That's who we are and what we do. So as well, kind of keeping people motivated, because everybody, I think in the past year, there's a saying, I can't remember which way around it. It's like we're all in different storms, but we're in the same boat, or we're
all different, but something like that, isn't it?
The way around it is. I think that's really true. Like, that you have people that live alone that are just desperate for noise and that kind of vibrancy that you get around being with people. Then you've got people that have kids and they're trying to homeschool and they just want silence for like 5 minutes. You've got people that are living with people that might be shielding. So you've got people as well that, I think everybody's on a different scale about how they feel about COVID as well. So, some of our clients are like, I don't care, I'll come in and meet you face to face and give you a hug. And then we've got others that are like, very the other way. And that's the same. And I think that's okay, because there's no right answer. We just have to be compassionate about other people's opinions and be mindful of that. So it's been difficult trying to motivate people. We put a traffic light scheme in place, which I really liked. So it was like, basically rate yourself about how willing you are to kind of come back into the office and meet people face to face. And so green is like, I'm actually dying to get back to the office. To see people, and red is actually, no, I'm quite nervous about it and I don't. So if once there was no right or wrong answer, but it allowed us to realize that actually that person might be red because they might be living with somebody who's vulnerable, and so we wouldn't ask them to come in. And again, it's just trying to understand how people feel, and then there's always a workaround, isn't there? So
such a good idea, just seems to being so mindful of the team's well-being. I mean, how for you as a leader and sort of managing your existing team, then the new team that you've integrated, and with all the plates that you're spinning on top of everything else, how have you had to adapt sort of with the remote working to be able to take care of the team?
Yeah, so I mean, one good thing is that I've never had an issue with trust about home working, because I do implicitly trust everybody that works here. So I've never been, and I obviously I'm part of like a few kind of like different networking groups or leadership groups, and I think some people have struggled because actually they're feeling like they have to then micromanage their team, because they're like, is this person on at 9:30? Like, what's this person doing? So I'm really grateful that I don't have that problem. Like, I genuinely, that's the way that we recruit, and that's the way that we look after staff. So that's great. So that's not a problem. But it's just yeah, making sure that they're all happy. And so I've tried to do that remotely to a certain extent. When the first lockdown was way easier, right? Because it was summer, or the sun was out, and also it was quite a novelty. It was like, oh, we're all in this together, like, and you think it's going to be 3 weeks, and this time round it's been so much harder. Like, coming out of the back,
Totally agree.
it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing a big difference in people's kind of mental health and struggling with it. So we've done a number of things. We've put kind of like, we have like what we call Zeal mate dates, where we put kind of random people in apartments in a group, and they have to have like a Zoom coffee. We've done some things on Zoom which have worked, and some things which haven't. So I mean, everybody did the Zoom quiz, didn't they? Like, for
Yeah.
honestly, I was like,
They've died a death now, though, haven't they?
do another Zoom quiz. I will literally, like, no, not doing any more Zoom quizzes. But we did a really good one the other week, which was a virtual beer tasting.
Ooh.
All the staff got sent. It was like Northern Brewery. I think that's the right name. And they got sent like 6 like tins of beer, and it was only, we'd had like, because we have a Zeal WhatsApp chat as well, which is, there's like 37 people on it. And yeah, we were probably about 3 beers in. And then I was like, 7% beer. So then really, we weren't really paying attention to the kind of detailed description of what's in the beer. Everybody's just on their mobile phones, like, I'm really drunk. Like, but that was really nice. That felt a lot like kind of team bonding-y. And we've done things like scavenger hunts. But what I've tried to do is every other week we have a full agency Zoom call, where it's much more of an update on the business and what we're doing, and trying to get people excited about the work. And then on the alternative week, each one of these kind of little mate date teams,
Yeah.
is like a social event. So we've had a fancy dress finger competition. Literally, you'd have to up in fancy dress.
We need one. What one?
I can't remember the name of it, but it was a woman from SpongeBob SquarePants or something. Yeah. So, and then tonight we've got an Easter egg hunt, a virtual Easter egg hunt, which I'm excited about. So, yeah, I think passing some of the culture stuff that I used to do completely on my own, like, I couldn't do that. So I think handing some of that responsibility down and letting the staff kind of lead it, that's been really good, and they seem to have enjoyed that, and some great things have come out of it as well. So yeah.
Brilliant. So tell us about some of the greater things that have happened over the course of the last year for you guys. Tell us about some of the wins that you've seen.
Yeah, so I mean, there definitely has been positive things. I think it's like on a people point of view, it's that everybody pulling together, and our clients have been really good as well. Like, a lot of our client relationships have deepened, because it's when something happens, you're kind of like, right, what can we do? How can we fix this? And what's been nice is that they've been coming to us to be like, we all know the problem, but how can I get over it? And actually, the conversations that I've been having with the owners of businesses, or the owners, the clients that we deal with, have been way above and beyond the kind of the services that Zeal offer specifically. So it's more about business transformation and digital transformation. We've been really lucky to work with some great like startup companies that are, okay, they come to us for marketing, but actually then we help them with funding. So it's anybody that's really, like, I think, pivoted and gone, actually, we need to make a change. We've been forced to make a change now. And that's sometimes great. Like, even people that, we've got in the agency that have been made redundant, when they got made redundant, they thought, God, this is the worst thing ever. And it's always like, might be the best thing ever. Like, that's the truth of it, isn't it? Because you have to kind of look at yourself and change how you do things. And so, yeah, I think we're a lot more, I think we think bigger now. We've kind of stepped out of just the box of being kind of marketing, and actually I now do a lot of kind of like business consultation. I've also personally invested in a couple of other businesses which have launched this year as well, which is nice. I was like a little side hustle. So that's been really fun, and I'm excited for those things as well. So yeah, and we have continued to win businesses. Like pitching is weird on Zoom.
How's that been for you guys?
Yeah, the first one. Now it's kind of like, yeah, we just what we do.
We do it.
The first one I was like, how is this ever going to work? How can we possibly pitch on Zoom? Now it's like, yeah, but you don't quite get that, you know. Or like when I'm doing an agency thing and everybody's on mute and I tell a hilarious joke and nobody's laugh. I'm like, guys, can you just unmute so you can laugh?
I can tell it again. Yeah.
So you're all laughing, but I need to hear it. So yeah, that's been I think, but yeah, we have continued to win business, and you know, I think there are some really entrepreneurial things coming out of this. Somebody was saying to me, actually, I think it was Jen, our client services director. She was saying in any time when there've been this kind of thing happened before, there's always like a renaissance, and like music and creative and fashion like heighten at the end of it, because people are kind of like, you know, away and then they come back to the fore. So yeah, I feel like that a bit. We've been doing some really nice creative stuff as well, which is exciting. So yeah.
Brilliant. So it sounds as like you guys you've had to make a lot of adaptations, as we all have, sort of over the last year. So of the different ways of working that you guys kind of now have become your day-to-day, or adaptations that you've made, what do you think you'll keep hold of sort of as we emerge into this new normal? What do you think
I don't think we'll go back to 5 days a week in the office. We've always had flexible working time, like flexible hours at Zeal, but we've never done working from home. And then obviously, so you go from that to like everybody working from home, and there's an immediate kind of panic and then excitement, and then actually then it just becomes kind of normal. So we in between lockdown whatever and 7 and 8 whatever,
17 and 18.
we were doing 3 days a week in the office, so people were coming in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but working from home, or it was voluntary, Monday, Friday. I think that works really well. It's a nice mix. It's a good kind of work-life balance as well. So we don't know. I don't know the answers, and I always say to the staff, like, I don't have the answers, but here's an idea of what might happen. So yeah, I think that would be something that we do. I think we will use Zoom a lot more, but there is absolutely no replacement for like physical being in the same room, whether that's a one-on-one client, whether it's a pitch, whether it's an internal brainstorming session. And most people I talk to would agree with that. So I do think we'll use Zoom. I think it's taken a lot of geographical restrictions.
Absolutely.
I have an office down in London as well, and I used to split my time between Leeds and London. So that is, you know, the geographical restrictions I think will move. People will be more, you know, before this, if you said, oh, can I pitch you an advertising campaign on Zoom? They'd be like, no, that's weird. Now it, you know, kind of takes that away, which is exciting. Yeah. So yeah, I think we'll do more Zoom. I think we'll definitely come back in the office, but I also think people will really enjoy it, and I think there'll be a real again, it's really cheesy, but you don't know what you miss until it's gone, do you? So, you know, people will be like dying to get back into the office, and all the things that we used to moan about, like the trains being late, or, you know, this kind of thing, will be like, fine, it doesn't matter because I'm on.
Yeah, but we're out. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm definitely excited for things to kind of start reopening and seeing people again.
Yeah, the world to start turning again.
I've never been like a huggy person, but now I'm just going to be like, well, obviously when we can, not like, come here. Or just be like jostled in a bar. I'll be like, oh, it's so good.
Just being around people again. What do you think the team are looking forward to the most? You know, as we again come out of lockdown and you guys can be back together, what do you think they're looking forward to the most?
Just being around each other.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah.
Ideas, and it's like anything. Everything's about energy, isn't it? Like the energy in the office when it's full, it just is. You know, it gives you energy because you're around it. So I'm sitting here at the moment. There's only one other person in today, and it just, you know, feels different. So quite often I'll be in here on my own and I'll be like, you know, lonely. But yeah, I think they're really excited to come back in and start seeing each other, and share ideas and communicate better and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can only imagine, you guys being creative, a group of creatives not being able to be in a room together and bounce off of one another and soundboard off of one another and grab, each other. Can we just grab you for this? And it must have been such a tricky transition for everyone.
Yeah, it's that grabbing people thing. It's like the amount of times I go, can I just borrow you for a second? Can I just come out of my office and be like, can I just borrow you? And now, can I have a Zoom in 15 minutes? And no, because I've got a Zoom in 10 minutes. Okay, how about 30 minutes? Like, oh, please.
And then the energy's gone. Yeah.
So that's going to be great. And I mean, you can't, there is some great tech that we wouldn't have survived with at all. And we're really lucky in that we're really set up to work from anywhere.
Yeah.
We're digital completely, so it wasn't a big deal to send everybody home with their kind of laptops and that kind of thing. So there are other clients that are not that lucky, or it's not been that simple, and Slack and Zoom and WhatsApp and all of the things. But I do have to check about 17 different modes of communication sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I had a telephone call the other day and I was literally like, this is my telephone call. Yeah. So I think that people are just looking forward to getting back to seeing each other's faces.
Definitely, couldn't agree more. So I guess with everything that you've experienced, this roller coaster of emotions over the last year, and everything that you've learned, knowing what you know now, what might you have done earlier?
Oh, that's a good question. What would I have done earlier? I don't have any regrets. I actually don't have any regrets. And that's not because I've been perfect or haven't made mistakes. Of course I have. But I don't regret any. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure I came out of that thinking, I didn't take I didn't take that opportunity, or I didn't do that thing. So I literally made sure that we did, do everything that we wanted to do, and pitched for work we wanted to, and pulled together as a team, and going through the acquisition and all of those things. So yeah, I don't actually have any regrets, but it's just it's tiring. Like I always think somebody asked me the other day, it was like doing a little interview thing, and it was like, what makes a good leader, or and I always think like energy, like actual physical energy to get up and keep going and stay positive. And it's hard sometimes, and I think it's okay to show that it's been a hard year. I have been tired a lot of the time, and so have all the staff, and it's been up and down, but to have that energy and also like tenacity. I'm like super stubborn and really tenacious, so that's key, just to keep kind of going forward and think, well, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to kind of wait and see. I'm just going to keep going and kind of, take those opportunities where you can find them.
Brilliant. And I guess leading the team and the business forward on continuing to be able to thrive, as you guys have done over the last year, what have you learned the most about yourself as a leader?
Oh God. I actually think it's given me more confidence in a way. I think if you can survive or do well in difficult times, then when things are, it's like, so I'm training for a half Ironman at the moment.
Are you? Amazing.
I went out on my road bike with a couple of guys that own agencies in Leeds, and the weather was, it was like gale force wind, like rain. I couldn't feel my feet. It was just miserable. I had a great time because it was, good company and it was great, but it was just the worst bike ride ever. And Alex was like, well, if you can ride in this, when you go out on a nice day, then it's going to feel a lot easier, isn't it? So I think it's given me a lot of confidence, really. And I'm less apologetic. And yeah, I'm kind of, I think owning it a bit more, and I'm genuinely really excited for our kind of next financial year, which starts today. And there's a lot of, I'm super confident that I'm gonna grow this and be successful, and that's a really nice attitude to have. I feel really, and I don't know why or where that's come from, but I do feel like actually we've got through this year, and we can get through anything now.
Brilliant. So what does the future hold? What are you allowed to share with us in terms of exciting things that are going to be going on for you guys?
Yeah, more growth. So possibly some more acquisitions, looking at some different geographical territories as well, which is exciting. Probably some, product development and staff development and team development. With everybody's desperate for it. We did obviously pre-COVID. We've done a lot of like Zeal trips. So we used to do a ski trip, and we've been to like Italy a couple of times, and Barcelona, and
Oh, wow.
just a huge house in near Milan. And it was just amazing. So everybody's like, when are we doing a Zeal trip? So hopefully that will happen as well. Yeah, that's so yeah, I'm like, we're kind of ready to get a lot bigger.
Brilliant, brilliant. Listen, thank you so much, Jane, for sharing your experiences with us and what you've learned, and and how you guys have continued to thrive during the last year. It's really valuable, and we really appreciate it. Thank you ever so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below, and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.